So let me tell y'all about this dream last night, y'all. George and Barbara Bush were in my dream. Look, this thing about to get funny right now. Okay, let me start off by saying last night before I went to bed, I was not watching anything with these two people whatsoever in my dream. I was actually watching Canadian Prepper last night before I went to sleep. And then I started playing some I am affirmations as I was going to sleep. So don't ask me where George and them came from. So last night in my dream, I worked in a mall, right? I worked in the mall administration offices. Well, there were a lot of Secret Service people in the mall because there was this big meeting going on in the mall, well, about to start in the mall. So George and Barbara Bush came in the admin offices, and they were a little early for the meeting. So they, stayed in the admin offices with us or whatever, and their Secret Service were in there too. And so, George was actually a really funny dude. Like, he was cracking jokes and all kinds of stuff. And I'm sitting here like, this ain't the dude that we've been seeing on TV. But so he nicknamed me Peanut Butter. I'm like, sir, why are you calling me Peanut Butter? He said, because your skin is pretty like peanut butter. I was like, okay, cool. I'll take that, best. I'll take that. Okay, all right, cool. So we were in there talking, and Barbara was talking, and then somebody said something to George, and Barbara stepped up. She's like, no, my husband ain't doing that. And then, I let them talk or whatever was going on. And so the people left. And then Barbara looked at me and she said, that's why he got a wife to hold his back, who got his back, because we ain't going for all this crazy mess. And I'm like, all right, girl, okay, cool, cool, cool. So then it came time for the meeting, right? So they left out to go to the meeting. So then one of the Secret Service came back to talk to me. And he said, George and Barbara want to offer you a job. I'm like, what? They said that he said that they wanted to offer me a job as a personal assistant. I'm like, so what I gotta do, for the job, whatever. He said, well, you have to move to Florida. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? He said, the job is in Florida. You would have to move to Florida. I said, I can't do that. I said, I got 3 kids. He said, don't worry about it. He said, we'll take care of your living accommodations. He's like, he said, we'll take care of your kids' school. I said, no. I said, my kids are homeschooled. He said, no problems. He said, most of the kids of the people that work there at their Florida location, most of them are homeschooled already anyway. So that's already taken care of. So I'm like, okay, all right, cool. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? This will be a fun adventure. We ain't going to be there long. I'll probably do this about a year tops, and then we'll go ahead and come on back home. That's, in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. So I accepted the job. I'm like, cool. It's an adventure. Whatever. We're doing something new. No issues. So I went home to my kids, and I said, kids, I said, y'all will not believe this mess. And so they were like, what? What's going on? What's going on? So I was like, y'all, George and Barbara Bush offered me a job. They sit here like, what? The ex-president? I'm like, yeah, y'all, the ex-president. So then my kids were like, so what is it? I said, y'all, in order for me to take the job, we got to move to Florida. And all of their faces were like, Florida? I'm like, yeah, we got to move to Florida in order for me to take this job. So then we all agreed that, I would take the job, and go to Florida or whatever. So I kept my house, that we live in. I kept this house, and we, packed up some things, and we moved to Florida. And so it was like this real big, it was kind of like a mini White House is where we were living. There were different rooms in the building, they had kitchens in the building, the head chefs and housekeepers, whatever, where one wing of it was where all the families lived of the people who worked there. So all the families lived in one wing, and then the other wing was like the business wing, where all the meetings and everything went down. And so I'm walking around, as a new person, don't know what's going on. And so somebody stopped me. They were like, can I help you? I said, yeah, my name's Kimberly Humphrey. And they were like, oh, okay, we know where you're supposed to go. And so they took me where I was supposed to be, and I was in there, and I met the head chef. So George and Barbara got their own chef. He cooks for nobody but them. So They took me in there to meet the head chef or whatever. And then he's like, oh, so you a new personal assistant? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna be here for a little while. He's like, a little while. I'm like, yeah, I'll be here for a little while. And so that was the end of the dream. But George and Barbara Bush, y'all, I haven't even thought about that man in years. So I don't know where, how, why they got into this dream, but this dream was about them. And I guess my new nickname is Peanut Butter. I'm good with that.